The solar system is a group of celestial bodies that orbit around a single star in the center, the Sun. These celestial bodies include objects of different masses like
Planets, dwarf planets, moons, asteroids, and moons. Because of the force of gravity, these bodies move in a very predictable path of orbit.
Our Sun is only an average-sized star.
Small. Average. Big. Enormous. Ginormous. Fantastically ginormous. The Sun is the massive object that the whole solar system orbits around.
Note the word solar in solar system. Solar meaning from sun. And now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
The planets of the solar system include
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus.
and most of these planets have moons that orbit around them. Earth only has one, which is wimpy because other planets like Jupiter have 63 moons, which is hefty.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy.
Hefty, hefty, hefty.
Pluto, which is no longer a planet, is classified as a dwarf planet. The other dwarf planets in our solar system are Ceres and Eris.
Death Star is classified as
It's a space station.
gravity holds all these celestial bodies in orbit around the sun,
Gravity is the force of attraction between two objects.
not the attraction between you and the kid sitting in front of you. That's called love. Love. Not the same as gravity.
Get it right.
How strong the gravitational pull is depends on the masses of the two objects and the distance between them.
The greater the total mass, the stronger the gravity. The greater the distance between them, the weaker the gravity.
For example,
Compared to the gravitational pull of the sun to Pluto, the pull of gravity of the sun to Jupiter is huge. Jupiter
Hefty.
is much larger in size than Pluto.
Wimpy.
Jupiter is also much closer to the sun than Pluto is.
to most people, the words mass and weight are used interchangeably.
To scientists, smart scientists, like him, not him, he's dumb, and has 2 teeth,
Mass is the amount of stuff or matter in an object, while weight,
is the pull of gravity between the object and the celestial body that it is on.
you would weigh different on Mars or Pluto than you would on the Sun or Earth, but your mass would stay the same.
This is because different bodies in the solar system have different masses, so the gravitational pull is different on each planet, or moon, or Death Star. For example, I would weigh 321 pounds on Jupiter and 3,438 pounds on the Sun. Back on Earth, I would weigh
400 pounds.
just kidding.
400 pounds.
Then I'd be fat, like this guy. He probably weighs
400 pounds.
Here on Earth, we can easily overcome gravity by jumping.
or flying.
But eventually, we have to fall back to Earth.
Story time.
One day, a young man named Sir Isaac Newton was sitting under a tree. Then an apple fell and conked him right on the head. This made him realize something and would lead him to make one of the most important scientific discoveries of all time.
Gravity. Newton described gravity as a force that attracts all things that have mass. His famous formula, F equals gm1m2 divided by r squared,
Has been used for hundreds of years to describe the orbits of planets around the sun and the trajectories of things like spaceships. Then a not-so-random Joe who worked in the patent office in the late 1910s.
any guesses? Albert Einstein.
When Einstein was looking over a patent application, he stumbled across a theory that challenged Newton's theory of gravity.
Einstein researched this idea further, and after racking his brain around it, he came out with the general theory of relativity.
Gravity was only one part of this huge leap in science history,
You might recognize the famous formula, E equals mc squared.
or his famous quote,
When a guy sits with a hot chick, ooh, not her, she's fat. Hot chick for an hour, it seems like a minute, but let him sit on a hot stove, for a minute, and it's longer than any hour. Now that's relativity, boys and girls. Einstein thought that all things with mass cause a fourth dimension called space-time to curve. Einstein thought of space and time as the same thing that can curve and distort.
It's like a trampoline that bends and moves when you bounce on it. The direction of the curvature tends to point towards the center of the largest nearby mass.
The closer and heavier this mass is, the more it curves space-time. This is what Einstein thought caused gravity.
The planets are held in their orbits because of the gravitational attraction of the extremely massive nearby sun.
The pull of gravity from the sun combined with the inertia of the planet moving at an incredibly high rate of speed around the sun is what causes planets to orbit the sun and moons to orbit planets.